All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to show you how this simple VSL funnel and $531 in spend resulted in over 160 quality B2B leads for $3.32 each and 6 closes in just 4 days. And I'm going to show you exactly how we built this funnel. I'm going to show you exactly the ads behind it, the targeting setup, and everything you basically need to know to reproduce this for yourself. And just as quick proof, we're also going to jump into the ad account in a second, but we have this simple campaign with only 10 creatives in this case, 531 euros in our case, 160 leads, as well as $3.32 per lead. All right, and now let's jump right into the campaign details, or into the setup, better said. We used a simple 1% lookalike targeting of our customers. We, of course, run based on the conversion objective. We have a 2-page perspective funnel running here, 10 static creatives, 5 copy variations, and 5 headline variations. So based on this, you can see we did have some volume of creatives here, but essentially what really made this work was the funnel behind it, as well as the 10 static creatives. And they were so simple, you're not going to believe it, but I'm going to share exactly what these look like in a second. Now, in this video, I'm not going to dive too deep as to our meta ads process, but if you are curious as to how we run meta ads, you can check out this walkthrough of our meta ad account structure. The full video is linked in this document and can be found on our YouTube channel. So if you are curious about that, please go ahead and check that out. Before I jump into how we exactly did that step by step, let me quickly show you the funnel so you know what we're talking about. As I already said, this was a simple 2-step perspective funnel, and we basically set it up in the way that we just have one headline, one curiosity evoking image at the top, as well as social proof underneath. And then basically right after, we are hitting our audience with the VSL. Now, interesting enough, the VSL in itself is the video, or the video in itself is what we're advertising in the front end. I see this mistake a lot. People are going ahead basically and saying, hey, this is the freebie that you're going to get. They're advertising a white paper or some other form of low quality lead magnet. And then they're going ahead and basically showing a VSL right after. But what you really want to focus on is driving consumption. And so making the video in itself that they're going to watch the valuable thing that they're opting in for, as well as including your next up offer in that VSL, is the way to go, because usually consumption drives conversion, and in B2B, you need serious information to drive a sale, especially if you're in higher price products. But I'll get to the details of that in a second. Let's quickly walk through the funnel. So basically, you can see it right here. The video is above the fold. Autoplay is enabled with the option to click for sounds. And then basically we have the offer of, in our case, a 14-day free trial of our software. But of course, this works for any B2B product. And the free trial in itself is also worth a couple thousands in a sense, or a customer to us is worth a couple thousands. So this can work for any coaching offer, for any agency offer, for booking discovery calls, whatever you really want to have in B2B. But yeah, I'll get to the details of that in a second. Now, next up, we follow up with a quick overview of our software in terms of what it can really do. This can be benefits of working with you. So it really depends on your offer, but it's very simple, right? Just call out what makes you unique. Then we have an overview of the offer in itself. Once again, a call to action, following up with social proof, a video testimonial as well. So more features or benefits in your case, then an FAQ. That's all the magic there is. And as I already said, this thing resulted in over 6K in return. So 6 closes, as well as 160 leads in just 4 days. We ran a bunch of other experiments. This funnel by now has over 1,500 leads, I think. So this really goes to prove that you can scale this as well, right? So these were just the initial couple of tests that we did. All right, now let's jump into how we actually do that. And one thing that I want to point out before we jump into the actual setup and the actual content is you have to become an expert in your customer if you want to run successful marketing. This is really the basis for everything you do, and it's the basis for creating great marketing material. So only if you truly understand your customer, you can create content that will resonate. And I think this is obvious to most, but very little marketers I talk to actually put in the effort of trying to understand the customer. So you want to focus on that first before creating any marketing material, before creating any funnel. And it's fine, of course, to have guesses, but if you have more guesses than you have knowledge, then you will have to spend more money on ads to really see what works and what doesn't. So if you take qualitative insights from customer interviews and all the good stuff into creating your ads, creating your marketing material, then you'll have a way higher chance of success, basically. Now, for agencies, this will also mean that you need to make your client onboarding around understanding your customers' clients. This is the thing that we did back in the day when we still ran an agency. We really focused the onboarding on understanding what their clients are thinking of. So what do they pay attention to, right? What do they consume? Where do they spend time? And what's their biggest problem? All the good stuff is really necessary knowledge for you to create any marketing material that should be consumed and that should be relevant to the audience you're marketing to. After you've done that, and that's the base work, right? You want to define your strategic narrative. And there's this quote from Ogilvy that I really love. It's basically, when you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents of your marketing dollar. And you've probably heard this before, but it basically means that only a fifth of the people that read your headline or that see your ads will also read the body, right? So you spend already 80% of your marketing budget once you've written your headline. which is why the narrative really, really matters. And this is also why we're running so many different tests where we're testing these types of funnels, and we're doing so quite fast because we always want to figure out what's the next strategic narrative that resonates with our market. What are they paying attention to, and how can we piggyback off of that in our messaging? And this can only be good when you truly understand how your customer thinks. I already mentioned that. And when we create new funnels frequently, or we create these new funnels frequently to always have new ad bets with this strategic narrative. Now, in this funnel, honestly, our strategic narrative was this funnel tool that's putting elite marketer circles in awe. But we had a different variation of this, which basically said the stupidly simple lead gen funnels that took our agency to $1 million. And of course, this is a little bit more, let's say, controversial maybe, or it's a little bit more annoying to some. And this is exactly what we wanted to do here, right? So we used the stupidly simple as in hyperbole and alliteration just to make the title as catchy as possible, the narrative as catchy as possible. Lead gen funnels is a use case call out for us to just focus on the right customers as well as agencies is, and then a quantifiable result with the $1 million. So this is exactly the framework that I would follow also for you to craft your strategic narrative. Of course, the contents can be super interchangeable, right? So what is the actual quantifiable result your offer helps them achieve? Who is your target customer in the first place? Right? And so you can figure that out by just writing as many strategic narratives as possible, maybe even checking some of that with your customer. Yeah. And then just seeing which one resonates most by testing them. All right. So next up, you want to whip up a no-brainer offer. So after you've written your headline, two things matter: the story you tell, and we'll get to that in a second, and the strength of your offer. The question is, how do we craft a strong offer? Now, if you recall, in our funnel, we basically had this offer of a free trial, right? We also add 16 proven templates in this case. We add our academy, which is a marketing course with over 26 modules. We have an exclusive live training as well as premium customer support. So we start to bundle different offers into our main offer, which is the trial, right? To increase the perceived value of our offer. And so this is exactly what you want to do. Of course, first of all, one of these variables is the mass desire. So what are you actually talking about that you can achieve with your offer? So if somebody buys your offer, what is the value that they're getting out of it, right? Or what is it that you enable them to achieve? And so that's the first part. You need to make that seem as significant as possible. And of course, your offer and all the other stuff that you add to your offer will have to match them getting there, or match the journey of getting there. That's the one part of the offer. The next one is likelihood of achievement, which is basically to craft a strong offer, you need to make sure that within your offer, you have the bridges that help them achieve the jobs to be done from current state to desire. So let's have an example. If you have a sales consultancy, right? And your strategic narrative or the mass desire that you're focusing on, the desire that you're focusing on is make your sales team outperform by 50%, or make your sales team sell double, or make your sales team sell 100% more of your product, right? Stuff like that. Of course, in between, so from where they are right now up until where they want to go, which is sell a lot more of the stuff that your sales team is selling, then you want to have these different jobs to be done covered. Meaning, one thing would be, for example, to introduce a new script and make sure that everybody from your sales team learns that exact script. Another one would be they need more leads. So how do you actually get more leads? So all these different questions that arise from current state to getting to that desire, these are the things that you're going to cover with an offer. And the more of these things you're covering, the stronger your offer is. So next up would be the time delay, right? So which is reducing the time it takes them to get from where they are to where they want to go. And this can be done by you guaranteeing that, of course, in one sense. In our case, it's 14 days. So you get 14 days to actually achieve what we're advertising. And then basically the last piece of this is effort and sacrifice. So how much do they need to invest? This could be time, this could be money, this could be team effort, whatever it is, right? You want to make sure it seems as little as possible, but still be realistic. Another big problem that I always see in B2B offers is people are saying it's very, very easy. People are saying it's super simple to get where their customers want to go with their offer. And honestly, I'm personally very guilty of this too, because what I'm describing here might be even a little bit harder than it actually seems from me talking about it, right? But you want to make sure that it's realistic, but also still very attractive, and it doesn't seem too much work working with your offer or using your product or just getting them where they want to go. All right, and then last but not least, recommended read in this case is Hormozi's $100 million offer. You've probably heard that before. And although there are some things I don't agree with in that book, it's definitely a good way to crafting your first no-brainer offer in a sense. And this can of course work with simple offers as well. And just for an example, I linked a screenshot from our guy, Thijs from our Growth Elite community. And he basically said he launched his first funnel and closed a $3,000 client in just 36 hours. So the only offer that he had basically was the discovery call. So you don't have to have a no-brainer offer to make this work. An effective funnel with great messaging can already do the job, and you don't have to have any fancy add-ons to your offer or anything like that. Sweet. Now let's jump into the setup of the funnel. I already said, I already walked through how it was exactly set up. We always use Perspective in this case, perspective.co, because it basically allows us to just iterate and test a lot of things, right? So basically building a funnel took us 60 hours back in the day. Today it takes us 60 minutes. And this funnel that you're seeing on the screen right here also took me 60 minutes to set up, right? Another beautiful thing is that it's mobile first. Because meta traffic or basically any other traffic source you use is mobile first, right? LinkedIn has a little bit more of a desktop audience, but usually most of your traffic will be mobile. So that's why you have to build it mobile first, and Perspective allows you to do exactly that. Right, and last but not least, super fast loading. You won't believe what just an extra second in loading time does to your conversion. So you just want to make sure that this is always good, right? You want to make sure that your loading times are always great, because otherwise conversion will be bad, or you don't even know that you're losing out on so many leads if your loading times are taking quite long. Really make sure to use Perspective here in these cases. So the learning here is to make sure that the funnel you're using actually covers these 3 things. So first things first, you want to be very fast so you can iterate and test a lot of things, which is super crucial in today's day and age and running paid media. Next up, you want to make sure that it's mobile first. Of course, it has to be beautiful on desktop, as I already said, but mobile first is the way, and it has to be super fast in terms of loading times. And so last but not least, what I really recommend if you're choosing Perspective as your funnel software, I would recommend starting with the funnel templates. So we do have a lot of them for different use cases, as you can see right here, but I would really recommend if you're selling high ticket offers or services, go with the appointment funnel. It's been proven thousands of times. If you're selling low ticket or info products, go with the lead magnet funnel. And if you have a mix of both, maybe with a tripwire offer or stuff like that, just go with a quiz funnel. This is really good for high ticket as well as service and info, but also for low ticket. All right, and then next up, we want to craft a VSL, right? And this is really the centerpiece of your funnel, because as I already said, if you can ensure that the content that you put in there is the thing that people are opting in for, and then they start consuming it, and at the end you have a very cohesive pitch offering them your main offer, right? That's usually where the magic happens. And one thing that I want to point out here is that depth of content is undervalued in B2B, because the bigger the decision-making team, as well as the higher the price, the longer the copy should be. And we've seen funnels working or VSLs working with 5-minute video length, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And it doesn't only apply to B2B even, but I have seen companies like Mindvalley, for example, they are running 40-minute VSLs and are crushing with that. It's a 9-figure company. So don't believe the illusion that people have short attention spans. If the content is relevant, you can get them to consume anything. And in B2B, you actually need consumption to drive conversion. One template that we're using here, one path that we're following is basically this thing that I think also Alex Hormozi once said, which is proof, promise, plan, right? We want to make sure that in the beginning of our video, we're already building credibility. So we let our customers or the viewers of the video know why we're credible to talk about the topic. Then you want to give them a promise. So what are they going to learn over the next 10 minutes or however long your video is? And then you want to point out a plan. So basically just like a table of contents, this is the exact stuff that we're going to cover. This has been working wonders for us. So I would really recommend to you to just stick to that same hook. And so for the body, we follow an age-old copywriting framework, basically, which is problem, agitate, solution. Of course, we want to point out the problem, then we want to make the problem heard as much as possible, and then we want to offer a solution. Then what we've also learned is that stories are just the best way to communicate that, right? So you're ideally not going to just show slides with, hey, this is your problem, this is why it matters, and this is the solution to it. You want to wrap this into a story. And the story that we use is basically always just telling the story of our own business. So how did we discover this problem, and why did it hurt us so much back in the day, and what was the outcome after we solved it, and what was the solution we solved it with. And as I already said, go deep on the problem and why it matters, show the consequence of the problem, and then show the solution and how your product relates to that solution. All right, now let's take a quick look at the ads. In this case, this was really a little bit more aggressive copy, I'd say, but what's really interesting to know here is that these creatives took me 20 minutes to set up, including the ads, right? Or including the campaign. Because basically what I did was I just took a picture of my screen and I put copy over that. And the only thing that I want to point out here is that your creatives don't have to be super fancy, but creatives need to crush in terms of the copy, right? And this goes back to knowing your customer and knowing your strategic narrative, so you can then send qualified traffic to the funnel that just converts for you. So that's basically it. And just like with the VSL, storytelling ads are crushing right now. So if you were to see the full copy that we have here, I also wrapped it into a story more or less. So how did we discover this problem, and why are so many agency owners are reconsidering the funnel tool as of right now? And then leverage that in your ads. As I said, consumption drives conversion. We want to hook these people into a story because that actually makes them stick out, and that actually makes people consume your content. Then last but not least, you want to make your ads look like organic content and you'll stick out. And the funny thing is that the less your ads look like ads, the more they will convert. And that's one thing that I had to learn the hard way. We've been running ads for a long time, and we always stuck to one proven way of doing ads. And the funny thing is, the more it looks like organic content, the more it works. And that's exactly why we use this story type of template here. All right, and then some important info before I let you go. We are only able to achieve that because we have these funnels that crush, right? They're mobile first, they're set up in minutes, they're blazing fast in terms of loading speeds, they have interactive elements. And one quote that I really love is basically the difference between 1% and 2% is not just 1%, it's 100%, so double the growth. So if you are considering your current funnel tool or the current setup that you have, if you have 5% conversion, if you up that to 10%, then you basically can see double the growth. And that's exactly what we're optimizing for. And that's what we're after in the Perspective marketing team as much as possible too. And as I already said, perspective.co is the way to go with this. We have over 5,000 active customers that achieve these types of results. And meta ads are growing more and more expensive by the day. So the window is closing in on this. If you really want to crush in advertising, then you should try Perspective. All right, and that's pretty much it. If you want to check out Perspective, I actually linked this exact funnel template that we used here in the description down below. You can just copy and paste it into your account, start your 14-day free trial with Perspective. And to be quite frank, the 14-day free trial is very simple. You just go ahead, choose a plan, enter your data, and then you're led to your dashboard already where you can create your funnels in minutes. And if you don't like it, you can just cancel your account anytime, no strings attached. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening. Looking forward to see your ads, looking forward to see your funnels. That's all from my side, and cheers. See you next time.